Let's go. It's the Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show.
Which one, old man, that ain't got time? Shake your head. Get that side check. Put it in pockets like it's back. Going downtown.
Okay, if you've been on my channel for years, you know that Persona 3 and especially 4 are some of my favorite games of all time. For newcomers to my channel, Persona 3 and 4 are some of my favorite games of all time. The reason why is because they blend so many elements from other games and put it really all into one and make this very interesting and different series than anything else on the market, even in the Japanese RPG realm. So, Persona 5 is out. Now, this game has had a huge gap between 3 and 4, which to a lot of fans who got into it with 3 and 4, there wasn't that big of a gap. But now that Persona 5 is here, is it the game that all us fans have been waiting for? Is it one of the best games for this generation like 3 and 4 were in the PS2 gen? Let's find out.
Which one, old man, that ain't got time? Shake your head. Get that side check. Put it in pockets like it's back. Going downtown.
Let's start off with the biggest positive, in my opinion, the style. There is no other game with this much pizzazz, I guess you could say. It's a silly word, but it really just fits this game. I mean, it just oozes with style. Right from the menus, right when you start clicking into the menus into the game, you can tell that they put love and heart into this game because this is like no other game. It just feels so pop and so awesome at the same time, dark and brooding. And then on top of that, the graphics, well, they're definitely more PS3 level than PS4. They're still really solid. Everything runs and looks smooth. The special attacks, the magic attacks, and then of course the character designs. Everything in this game just screams Shin Megami and definitely Persona, and I love that. So in terms of designs and style, this game looks phenomenal. But let's get to why that matters. All that pizzazz, I guess, wouldn't mean anything if we didn't have the next plus, which is the characters, and there's a ton of depth into each of these characters. Now sure, this is a large list of characters in this game that you actually can sit down and learn to become friends with them or more, and then you build up other things, and we'll get to that later. But the point is that these characters, even if you don't like some of them, because I didn't love all the characters, you're going to have at least a handful of characters that you're really going to connect with and love. And that's what Persona does so well, is it gives you the opportunity to really dwell deep into these characters, past into their current situations, and get to really know them. So as far as characters go, this RPG in particular does it like no other game, in my opinion. It really gives you such well thought out characters with actual depth to them.
No dream. Yeah. What's going on? Hey, let us out!
I really enjoy the themes here. Now, each Persona game gives a different theme, and as much as I loved 4, which is more of a lighthearted yet still dark, this game is a little darker than that, and I think it feels really well done. Now, at first, it's a little bit of a culture shock to me because I don't live in Japan, so I don't know the laws as well as I do here. So when it set up the game that the main character basically is sent away because he stopped a potential rape, I was just like, why? But then it really dwells into the fact that adults, especially people with money, they would really lie and do whatever the fuck they want, and then they treat you like shit. In Japan, they see people with power as higher, or here too, but especially in Japan, it's just easier to blame the kid for everything, especially if you have the witness fall back on that too. So I really enjoyed the themes in here of betrayal and using people, and basically saying that you separate people in society just because based on rumors or one action, when there's far worse people that you just let slide just because they have money or they're in a higher authority. So it's all really well done in this game, in my opinion. I really enjoyed the themes so much in this game, with the exception of one palace. I really thought each palace gave a different look at how people can be really pieces of shit, so I love that. Alright, so let's talk about the gameplay. Now, I've talked all about the story, the style. What about the gameplay? Well, the gameplay stays very much like the old ones, yet it improves. So, in this game, you have 4 characters that you can use in a turn-based combat. This game heavily relies on using attacks that are weakness to the enemy. So, for instance, an enemy is weak to fire. You want to use that fire because it'll down the enemy. If you down everybody on the other side in time, you can then pile up and do an all-out attack. So that is your key, because this game will fucking kill you for doing stupid shit. If you're just gonna play around and lippity-lappity-do, then one character is gonna go and one-shot your main character, game over, you just lost a lot of hours of progress. So this game wants you to stay on your toes, make sure that you're using the right attacks, and beat the enemies in a fashion that makes sense. A new feature in this game is they give you guns now, and you can even modify them when you get a certain confidant level high enough. So I really enjoyed the gun aspect. It's not amazing, I think they could have done more with it, but I think it's actually a cool little feature, and definitely when you get to use on a boss in this game, I thought that was really well done. So overall, the gameplay stays what worked in the old game, and as you build levels with your confidants and make them stronger, they come into the gameplay even more, like when they protect you or get you out of a status that you're like sleeping or whatever, things like that. And so it's really cool, which brings me to my next point and another plus, the building relationship. So if you play Persona, this is no different. Same idea, you build, you talk to them, you learn about them, and then you gain a closer bond, in which case it's a lot of benefits to the story, but also benefits to the gameplay. Not only do you get new things like your ally being able to save you in battle or take the hit for you, but you also level up your Persona, class. And so, like, say you have the Deaf class, if you upgrade the bond with Deaf, when you fuse your personas, boom, you make like a stronger, more leveled up character. So I really do enjoy that factor into is that you're getting gameplay with story all in one when you're playing the game. It's a lot of cool RPG elements like that that make Persona so different and fun. Another thing, of course, is the Persona. So in this game, most of the characters have their own persona, and they just stay that same and then evolve when you get them to the highest level possible with the confident. With this, with your character, you can fuse other personas back and forth and create new personas. It's a cool little idea. It's almost like Pokemon in a way. You just keep collecting personas and then fusing them. Well, you don't fuse in Pokemon as much, but you know what I mean. So what I love the fact that you can have multiple personas and for every situation on the battlefield. It makes your character who could die in one hit, make him a little bit better of a chance to survive in each battle. So I really did enjoy that. And the last positive, I know this list sounds like it's all positive, but the last positive I have is the content alone is almost unbeatable. This game, minimal, will be 70 hours. I'm talking about minimal, 70 hours. On what I see online, some people are at 120 hours, 130. I mean, it could go on and on. It just really depends on your flow and how fast you read and what you skip and so on. But that's the first playthrough. Then people want to play New Game Plus. So this game truly gives you so much content, so much little things that you really can't do everything on your first run, that you might have to go back and play. That is really, in my opinion, unmatched. Like, there's no game that gives you this much content usually. So for that alone, that is definitely a huge plus. Alright, so what's the negatives? I really only have 2, and they're not huge negatives, so let's talk about them. Story. Not that it's bad. Like I said, I like the themes, I like the characters, but the story itself, the plot, feels a little iffy at times. It staggers at points. It's just like you're getting into the groove, but then they feed you stuff that is not all that interesting, or characters repeat the situation that we just were presented, and we don't need the repeating. It just doesn't feel right. It is very, and sorry if this offends anime fans, but it's a very anime trope type thing, and I love anime, but I notice it, and I definitely notice it in this game. So basically what it comes down to is the story feels more drawn out than it needs to be at times. And the other negative is there's just a little too much hand-holding at the point in this game. So there are moments when you are basically told you cannot do anything, go to sleep. And then this is a little complaint people have, but they're like, well, it's just the flow of the game, which I wouldn't mind, except the fact that the game presents you with so many opportunities to go out and get a drink, level up your stats or talk to your friends. So I like that. And then the game just says no, go to sleep, which wouldn't be annoying except for the fact that why don't you just skip to the next day? Why the fuck do I have to be in my room and then go to my bed and then click go to sleep? It's just an irritating thing, and it's irritating because the days just keep skipping over and over. And you're like, wow, I could have used all those days to level up a stat. That's kind of annoying. So there's things like that kind of really annoy me at points in this.
Waits for no man that ain't got time to shake your hand. Get that side check, put it in pockets like it's back. Going downtown.
Okay, so if you're with me still, this is a long ass review. I'm gonna be honest, this game is outstanding. As expected. I really didn't expect anything less from Shin Megami team, or especially the Persona team. They always give quality games, but once again, their Persona series, in my opinion, is one of the best series out there. If not, it's definitely top 3 RPG series for me of all time now. This just solidifies it. I love 3. I absolutely think 4 is one of the greatest games of all time, and then I love 5. There are negatives here and there, and if you can ignore them, it's even better. Like I said, the 2 negatives I have, they annoy me, but it's not overall going to stop me from playing this game at all. I listed a huge amount of pluses to this game, and that's fucking evident from me talking about this for like 10 minutes now. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to give my score. I'm giving this a 9.5 out of 10. It is near perfect in my opinion. The negatives are starting to draw at me, at the end of the game, the last like 20 hours. But I really did have an amazing time. This is a game that I will remember forever, just like Persona 3 and 4. This series continues to give quality games, and I really recommend anybody to try this game. Any fan of any game, if you like just RPGs a little, you really are going to love this game. Give it the first few hours. You got to build into this universe. It is different than any other RPG, but once you hit that like 5-hour mark, you're in, and 10, you're loving it. It's just a ride. So I'm gonna shut up. Once again, a 9.5 out of 10. It is one of the best games I played this generation, one of the best Japanese RPGs I played this generation, and I truly, to everyone out there listening, I'm telling you to go buy this game. It is worth it.
It's catching up to us! We're running here, bitch!